Most of us spend our lives waiting for the world to pay us back. We look at our relationships, our careers, and even our own happiness as if they were items on a ledger, transactions that must eventually balance out. This is the default human operating system, the transactional ego. It's the constant internal whisper that says, if I do this, the universe owes me that. If I reach this milestone, I will finally be permitted to feel at peace. But reality is fluid, not rigid. When we approach life with these fixed expectations, we create friction. When the world refuses to follow the rules we've written, our internal sense of stability fractures. We find ourselves on a treadmill, extracting resources from the world around us, yet the hollow feeling at the center of the ego remains. To understand the trajectory of this mindset, we can look to an ancient parable, the story of the boy and the apple tree. It serves as a map of the human condition, tracing the path of a life lived through extraction. By following the boy as he grows, we can see where our own internal logic fails and why the peace we try to pull from the world so often slips through our fingers. In the beginning, there is a flourishing apple tree and a young boy who plays in its branches. The tree gives its fruit, its shade, and its strength to the boy, asking for nothing in return. But as the boy grows, he is infected by tanha, the virus of craving. He begins to believe that the quiet peace he found under the tree isn't enough. He becomes convinced that his next acquisition will be the thing that finally cures his anxiety. As a young man, he returns and demands money to be happy. The tree offers its apples to sell. The boy strips the tree bare, takes the fruit, and leaves. He gets what he asked for, yet his underlying hunger remains. Years later, he returns, now stressed by the world. He demands the security of a house. The tree tells him to take its branches. The man hacks them off and vanishes again. But the house cannot provide the internal safety he's actually looking for. Finally, old and bitter, he demands a boat to sail away from his problems. He cuts down the trunk, leaving only a stump, and sails away. He has spent a lifetime taking, yet he is still running. This, ultimately, is the tragedy of extraction. The boy spent his entire life trying to fill a void with external resources, and in the process, he missed the actual journey of being alive. Usually, we look at this story and see the tree as a victim, a martyr destroyed by someone else's greed. But the logic of the awakened mind suggests something else. The tree does not suffer because it has no ego to defend. It does not see itself as being robbed. This is the concept of sunyata, or emptiness. It is the end of transactional logic. While the world thinks in terms of reciprocal debt, the tree is simply radiating outward. It gives because that is its nature, not because it expects a return. This is a matter of psychological physics. A rigid ego is like a rigid building during an earthquake. It shatters under the pressure of external events because it cannot bend. The tree remains unbroken because it does not identify with its branches or its trunk. It is rooted in its willingness to bend to the ground. It cannot be diminished by what it loses because it does not try to possess it in the first place. This is what makes the tree sovereign. Because its peace is not dependent on what it holds, it remains whole even when it is reduced to a stump. At the end of the story, the man returns as a broken, shivering old man. He has nothing left to take and no strength left to use. He tells the tree he just needs a place to sit. In this moment, the transaction finally ends. The man stops trying to extract value and simply exists with the tree. For the first time, he is at rest. This raises a question that most of us spend our lives avoiding. Which character are you playing? Are you still hacking away at your own life, hoping that the next paycheck or the next relationship will finally be the one that turns off the noise in your head? Drop the heavy armor of the ego. Stop treating reality as a negotiation where the universe must bend to your will to be happy. True psychological liberation is the realization that peace isn't something you take from the world. It is the capacity to exist within it, without the need for the next thing.